What's happening, y'all? Welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach, and today we are back building some things. So that's really exciting stuff. I missed getting my hands on some wood and doing some work. So composting is a huge thing for farmers and homesteaders. That stuff ain't cheap if you're trying to buy it for your own composting, for gardening and different stuff like that. But you have everything you need to make compost right at your home. So in our previous home, I made a 2-piece compost bin out of pallets. It was nice and simple. It was very easy to put together. That had a few issues. Primarily, it was too hard to get in there and flip it because if I pulled that compost or that pallet out, it all wanted to fall out, or it was hard to get the pallet back to where I wanted it. So now that we're at the new place and I've been rethinking, I did a little research and was kind of finding the ideas I want. I found one. So I can't take this as my own creation. It was my thought, but I found something that actually had the plans. So I'll have it linked down below, but we are making a 2 compost system. The main reason you want to have at least 2 going is you want one that's active, one that you're actively putting in new compost, turning it, getting it hot, and then one that's resting, because you want your compost to rest for about a year. That's a good rule of thumb. 18 months is good. You can go a little less than a year depending on what's going in there, but a year is a good rule of thumb. So you want one resting while one is actively being turned. So we are going to be making that today. Let me show you what the plan is. So this is what I found. I found it on Etsy. So I will, like I said, link it down below, but it's a double compost bin. The reason I chose this one specifically, because it's a very basic design in the back, just with 2x6s. It honestly looks like pallets. It's this front, and that's what really won me over. So we actually are going to be able to slide 2x6s down for the height of our compost. And if I wanted to get in there and shovel, I could just easily remove these because they just slide right down in there. That is what sold me on it, and this is what we're making. They just named it a DIY double compost bin. So here are the materials. And here are all the cuts. So let me pull this out so you can screenshot it if you want to. So now I'm gonna get on all those cuts because I always like having all the boards cut up, and then you can just start putting everything together. We got 2x6 by 12 foot boards instead of getting a bunch of different sizes. This will be able to sell us all and everything that we need. So let's get at it. What you been doing for Daddy?
Picking the walnuts up and ruining my
Oh
suit.
no, ruining your unicorn shirt. I'll buy you another one. Thank you for your help. Yeah, so as we mentioned in the last video, if you caught it, these are all walnut trees. Ray is helping pick those up. We also have 2 5-gallons over there completely full too, but it's walnut season, folks.
I'm about to dump them in there.
Oh, that's a good idea. All right, that was a lot of cuts. So I got all these done over here, all of them and all of them. And for a compost bin, seems a little silly, but we're this far in and we're moving forward, so I don't know, it better look as nice as it looks in the picture. All right, so I just got the back together. And so a couple of things that you need to note. You need to leave a 1.5 inch gap all the way down on each side, because that's going to be the next step. And then these, honest with y'all, like, they have it specific on how the gap is, but I just did it where eyeballed equal. The reason that you're doing this is so that the compost can have airflow, because it can't be completely tight. You want to be able to let water go in and out, and you want to have airflow that's going through it. Now this is the back side, so we're about to put on the sides. So we're going to put these just like so, right there. And then we're going to flip it up, and this will be the sides, and that'll be the back. All right, the sides are on. It's starting to look a little bit more like a compost bin. I ain't gonna lie, it's a little bit smaller than I thought for a double compost bin. I would almost think that each side should be about that size, but it'll be all right. All right, so we have got the front facings on, and those are just the 2x6s. They're just attached straight to the front, and you just want to make sure that they're flush on the edges. And then I got all the middle boards. So there is each side. It's a decent size because it is tall. And compost, you don't realize, your pile might be big that you put on there, but when it actually composts down, like you lose a lot. Well, you don't lose a lot, but it's composting. So it'll hold quite a bit. The last step is now I got to put up the second board that goes here that they can slide into, but that's basically what she looks like right now. It's been a very simple build, just a lot of cuts because you have to have so many gaps. But yeah, not too bad. All right, this thing turned out pretty freaking sweet. I love the front. I love this part of that. So this is what I was trying to explain. I can take it down. That way it's a lot easier to access the front with a wheelbarrow, with a shovel, whatever it is, because you can take these out. And that really seals the deal. It's just a really cool little technique that you wouldn't technically think of just off the top of your head until you saw a picture of it. So there they are. That's the two different bins, but I'm not done just yet. So I got all untreated wood, honestly, because it's compost, so you kind of got to think about your raised beds. And even though that's not a huge ordeal nowadays with what they use, it still is treated wood. So I got all untreated wood, and I'm going to rub it down with linseed oil, since that is safe, to help protect the wood so that compost doesn't rot it out. So I'm going to get the linseed oil on it, let it dry, and then we'll get it over to the actual place it's going to go. If the ladies had gotten all them walnuts shucked, I would have just made me some dark black walnut stain and used that, but we'll go easy today. All right, there she is. So this is the side of my very beautiful garage. There is the side of our house once we finally got there. So it's just a walk over the driveway, boom, compost bin. I love the way it turned out. I'm really happy with it. I don't know, it seemed like a lot and a lot of extra, but I'm also used to like pallet builds and real quick builds. Trying to change my mindset, getting into a little nicer stuff, actually trying to use woodworking skills rather than just throwing something together. And I think that really turned out perfect, to be honest with you. So if you want to build it, I think it cost me about 150 bucks for all the wood that I had to get, which isn't bad. At least in our area, the prices are going back down. But you don't have to do it this way. There's so many cheaper ways if you don't want to do it like that. However, I do love this design. There's nothing that I would do differently than what I saw here besides maybe make it bigger. But for someone that's got a little bit smaller area, that's a perfect little size. Where we have the barn and all the animals, I can fill up both of those immediately from just cleaning out stalls. But yeah, there she is. I hope you all enjoyed. I will link what I got below, but at least this is a video tutorial on how to put it together. So hopefully you enjoyed, and if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to down below. I gotta clean all my mess up now and put it back in the garage. Y'all have a good one. Bye.